We're back, baby. Episode 6. Welcome to Win Me the Lottery. I'm Tony.
And I'm Chris.
So I guess today, what are we talking about, Chris? I guess it's my first question to you, Chris, is do you like children?
Excuse me?
I mean, do you want to have children?
Oh, yes. Yeah, look, Tony, we all love kids. Not in that way. And, it's part of your legacy, right? What are you going to leave behind when you leave this earth? You want some children there to carry on, sort of prolonging everything that you brought to earth, right?
I think so. I mean, so one of the things that I think about when I do have children, because I don't have any children at the moment.
Oh, you don't?
I don't have children.
They're not yours, then?
I mean, I could have children that I don't know about, but highly unlikely. I mean, it might be the case for you, Chris. I mean, you're a handsome chap. You might have, in your time, you might have had a few relationships that...
I'd like to clarify, there are no kids that I have that I'm aware of.
You want to keep your money, basically, Chris, right?
Well, that's what this whole podcast is about.
It's true. I think the reason why we're talking about kids is... kids actually have a big impact on whether you want to retire early. I mean, I would say that's a fact from research online.
They are expensive. There's no getting away from it. Kids are expensive.
They're bloody expensive.
But Tony, planning for you to have a legacy after you die has to be expensive.
I think most people would agree that kids are worth it. I would say. I mean, they wouldn't spend so much money on kids. I think for me, children might be a sense of accomplishing stuff that you may not have accomplished in your own life. Maybe they could carry on the torch that you can hand over to them, and they can go and kind of, you can live through them essentially. And that's what some, I guess you could say, toxic parents do in that regard. But I guess going into kind of winning the lottery, I think we'll go through our topic of the week is, if you were lucky to win the lottery, I think a big question is, if you already do have kids or you want to have kids, how much would you want to leave your kids?
Would you leave them a penny? Would you leave them anything at all?
Would you leave them most of it? Would you put them in the bank or a trust fund for them to go, look, I didn't have a lot growing up. I want you to enjoy everything that I missed out on. And that's I think that's completely...
I want you to be able to go and have a 3-course meal at Prezzo every single Friday night. Every week.
I mean, they could have it most days in the week if they wanted to. But yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting topic for our topic of the week later. But something I wanted to touch on before we get into that is, did you see the fight this weekend, Chris?
I did see a couple of fights. I was on holiday this weekend in Sicily, and there were a few brawls that I saw. But which one are you talking about? I'm
talking about the KSI versus Tom Fury fight.
Right. Okay. Can you fill me in on what any of those words mean?
So, do you know who KSI is?
I've heard of KSA. That's the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
So, KSI, he's a massive YouTuber. So, funny enough, I am a fan of KSI, especially in his earlier stuff, because he used to do a lot of FIFA videos.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I'll get behind that.
Yeah, he's quite funny, and obviously he's I would say one of the most successful YouTubers out there, especially coming from Britain, and he's kind of done loads of stuff from his own kind of music to kind of creating this other project, I believe, on YouTube called The Sidemen, and there's like a group of them, and they so many views. But I guess him, along with Logan Paul, you might have heard of, who they seem to have got into this kind of boxing thing, and basically KSI, a YouTuber, as far as I'm aware, he's not a professional boxer. He fought a professional boxer called Tom Fury.
Right. So you're telling me that somebody who used to be a FIFA YouTuber has taken on a professional boxer in a fight this weekend? Yeah,
I know it sounds crazy, but I think when you think about the whole marketing of these things, boxing, there's a lot of money in boxing, and they want to attract a massive audience, and there's a massive audience of KSI.
Yeah.
I believe the event it was kind of a Logan Paul event as well. Somehow he's kind of involved in it. But yeah, you're essentially talking about a YouTuber fighting a professional boxer. I guess the controversy of the fight, which has got a lot of people talking, is that Tom Fury won by decision. But the thing that has kind of got people talking was that they thought KSI actually won. The thing is that both men are still standing. It's gone to decision. And if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, I think with boxing, do you really want a YouTuber beating a professional boxer? If it was going to go to a decision, I was always going to assume it's going to go to the judges to go, yes, the professional boxer won. KSI, to be honest, if he was going to win that fight, he would either have to have give a few knockdowns to get those points, or to basically knock him out, which never happened. But what struck out to me was that KSI is a multi-millionaire. Like, he is filthy rich.
He's already there, right?
He's already there. But to see the emotion of him not getting that decision where he generally thought that he won, it's like what he really cares about now. It's like that's what's motivating him. This is what he's spending his energy and time on. The money might be an afterthought.
Can I just ask, why doesn't he become a professional boxer if that's what he really wants to do? Or did he want this kind of ego boost of, oh, look, a YouTuber has beaten a professional boxer?
Possibly. I mean, the way he looked, I mean, I wouldn't question if he was a professional boxer.
Is he quite ripped?
Oh, yeah. But then he might have professional... I haven't looked into this. He might have professional boxing trainers to get him up to speed.
He might be paying for trainers better than what Tom Fury can get hold of. We don't know.
Exactly. But talking about kids, now he's lost his fight, whether he gets a rematch or not. But imagine this. Imagine if he had kids. This is almost like Rocky 4 to like Creed 3, Creed 2 scenario of like maybe the kids will actually... Tom Fury has a kid, he has a kid, and they end up boxing, and then maybe KSI kids actually
It could
finally
easily
wins.
happen.
Maybe he can achieve what he couldn't do through his son.
Through his legacy,
His
right?
legacy.
His legacy that lives on after. Okay, yeah, very interesting. But yeah, obviously a bit of a scandal there, Tony. And are you sort of still angry about it?
I mean, I'm just happy to see the passion of KSI. You know, I'm just saying like, it isn't just all about money. Well, for us it is, because we don't have those multi-million pounds yet. But talking about money, you know, we might as well go into segment one. And what was last Saturday's draw?
Well, obviously, Tony, the jackpot amount has been 4 million basically every week we've done this show. So I'm imagining it must be around that ballpark.
3.8.
3.8. It's gone even further backwards.
Yeah. Well, we could just round up to 4 million. It's been 4
It's the lowest yet, though. 3.8. It's the lowest we've had. But you know what? We keep saying it. 3.8 million. It's not to be sniffed at still.
No. But there's actually no winners for this week. But if we go
Good.
through...
There'll be a rollover.
So, yeah, it probably won't be 3.8 next week. But the winning numbers were 4, 27, 28, 31, 51, 57, and bonus ball was 48. Machine name was Arthur.
Arthur again. No, that one's solid.
Ball set is 4. I think that's the first 4.
Oh, that sounds frightening.
I guess it's 2-2.
2 2s.
Yeah. That makes sense.
KSI and Fury.
And then what were my numbers? So it was 5, 13, 24, 27, 31, and 36.
Hey, Tony, it sounds like a couple of familiar numbers in there, am I right?
Correct. I won a lucky dip. So that's better than last week, I would say. So matching numbers 27 and 31. So 2 matches this week. So I'm in the lucky dip for this Wednesday's.
For Wednesday's draw. Okay.
So we haven't been focused on Wednesday's draw. We've always been keeping it quite simple
we're
with
doing a weekly cadence. But Tony, I did have a look earlier. I have to confess, 5 million on Wednesday. So it has gone up. So who knows? The lucky dips could bring us some fortune there.
I'm not going to complain if I win the lottery on a Wednesday instead of a Saturday. So
Why is that? Wednesday is kind of like you're in work. It's going to cheer you up a bit.
I don't know. I'm just saying that because a lucky dip, they've assigned it for the Wednesday
for the
draw.
Wednesday, right? Okay.
So basically, if I'm going to buy the numbers for this Saturday's draw, but I'm also in it for Wednesday.
So you're in it to win it twice.
Twice this week.
And Tony, if you win it on Wednesday, it's happy hour at Simmons, so you can get down there as well, straight away.
Yeah.
No happy hour. Not many happy hours on Saturdays.
No. I think it's the same with restaurants. You don't get the taste cards on Friday and the Saturday.
You can't bring your voucher to Prezzo on a Saturday. But will you need it if you just won 5 million? I don't know. I think we'd still use the Prezzo vouchers.
Well, if I'm a lottery winner and if we touch upon like I've quit my job,
yeah,
and I've got all this free time, like I can actually go to the restaurant Monday to Thursday and eat out, whether it's lunch or dinner. Would it be a little bit financially irresponsible of me to go like, I could still, my voucher still applies, so my taste card is valid. Would I say, because I'm a lottery winner, no, I'm not going to use it? Of course I'll use it. Wouldn't you use it?
I would. And the thing is, you can even get more value for money. So basically, say you go now, maybe you order one main, one side, maybe one drink for you and whoever you're going with.
Yeah.
Now you can max it out, to whatever that voucher is redeemable up to. Yeah. Just go. If you can use it up to the value of £100 or whatever, just go for the whole menu.
You know what I'd do? Something keep it positive. You know when we talk about kind of paying it forward? The money that I would save, say if it's a 2-for-1 on the main meal, I'll give
a homeless person.
No, the cost of that meal, I'll give it as a tip to waiter. Is that nice?
That is lovely.
That'd be nice.
But Tony, what about the homeless people?
Okay, I'll save that for the homeless person.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe I'll just give it as a takeaway meal so they don't spend it on drugs.
Right.
Not all of them spend it on drugs and drink.
And Tony, there is another question of who's more deserving, actually, of that money? Is it somebody who's working hard for a living in Prezzo, or is it a homeless person who's dossing around on the streets?
That's
not my opinion.
Why don't we give to both?
Yeah.
You remind me of this very funny joke, actually. I can't remember the comedian's name, and he actually addresses this this thing where people talk about, don't give money to the beggars on the street or the homeless people on the street. They're just going to spend it on drink and drugs. And the comedian's response was, what do you think I was going to spend it on? So I thought that was quite funny because, in a way, someone's going to spend it on some type of
true of anyone. Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's a little bit more positive this week. So I got a lucky dip. But we're stuck with the 3.8 million. If nobody won it this week, but again, if we keep. What would you do with 3.8 million?
Tony, this is what I keep saying. Okay, we're complaining. We want it to go above 10 million. But let's look at it this way. You win £3.8 million. Even if you put £1 million of that aside in a savings account at 4%, which is eminently doable at the moment. Lots of accounts, 4%. That's 40 grand a year passive income from £1 million. Now, of course, you're going to get taxed. You're going to get hit on that 40,000 income because you've got $1 million in there. You're in the upper rate of tax. But 40 grand, even if you do end up paying, 45% it might even be on that, you're still getting way over 20 grand, 28 grand or something like that for nothing.
I mean, that's pretty decent. You know what? I'll definitely chuck some, just max out the ISA and even go back 3 years with the pension if you wanted to.
Yeah, good point.
But then you're right. I mean, 40, I think that's still... if you know what your kind of burn rate is in terms of like what your bare minimum expenses, you're doing all right. You might not want to go Prezzo every day.
Yeah. But, and that's the most risk-averse thing you can do, really. Just whack it into a savings account. Obviously, in the past, we cannot guarantee that the past performance is indicative of future returns. But in the past, had you invested your money, you would have got a much better rate on that money than if you were to save it. Obviously, with savings interest rates a bit higher at the moment. 40 grand a year before tax on $1 million, and that's higher than the average salary in the UK. And Tony, How many millionaires are there in the UK? Only 3.5% of the population are millionaires. So that means they've got wealth of over 1 million
I'm shocked.
in cash. Not talking about assets like property.
Oh, right. So literally liquid cash.
I believe so.
That makes sense. I thought that number would be higher, to be honest. I don't know why. Maybe because we're so London-centric. Because you look around and you go...
Well, how many billionaires are there?
But how many people can afford some of these houses that are out there? I mean, like, you're looking at $1 million for like we talked about this, $1 million for a decent house in a kind of a decent area in London. 3.5.
Easily, yeah. So, yeah, all interesting stuff. And Tony, it got me thinking about all of this this week because, we've talked about it on this podcast in the last few weeks of these lottery anti-success stories. Mikey Carroll, he blew the lot, right? And we've talked about
bless him.
Bless him. And, he had to go back to being a binman. And so I started Googling about this. People say, I think there was a stat out there that 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt. And I thought, this just can't be true. So I looked into that, and I can confirm that has been debunked. That was fake news, this thing about 70% of lottery winners
that does seem a bit higher, though.
It sounded ridiculous. And then I bumped into online some research that came out of Sweden, and this paper was called Long-Run Effects of Lottery Wealth on Psychological Well-Being. And in this piece of research, Tony, thousands of Swedish lottery winners were surveyed over the course of many years. And this research showed, indeed, lottery winners are more content with their lives over a long period of time than they were before they came into that money. And furthermore, there's no evidence that most winners squander money. Of course, you're going to have the odd edge case of Mikey Carroll or whoever it might be. Obviously, he squandered the money. There are even more tragic circumstances. For example, we spoke the other week about Abraham Shakespeare, who was topped off by his wife. But yeah, apparently most winners actually do keep their finances intact. And I'd like to think, anybody listening to this podcast who does end up winning it will have will be able to do the same thing by listening to the tips that we're sharing week in, week out.
I think with the Swedish, they've got their head screwed on right for many things. I think, that's a society that seems to be very progressive in the sense that they just seem ahead of the game with a lot of things, where it's kind of, work-life balance, kind of equality,
meatballs.
It actually got me thinking. I think one of the theories maybe why the case is that they don't lose all their money when the lottery winners based in Sweden is that I've got a feeling that they've probably gone, I've got all this millions, they're just going to still shop at IKEA. They're not going to go crazy with the furniture. They'll still be content because they can still kit out each room at a reasonable price, and it still looks good.
And it looks stunning.
Yeah, and look how reasonable the price is. If you get one of the reasons why I like IKEA is that I can still get that meatballs, the dime cake, and all at a reasonable price.
That's the only reason I ever agreed.
It doesn't get better than that, really.
It's the only reason I go. I'm just like, look, we'll go round, we'll do all that. We'll go right way. It's painful. It takes ages going around IKEA.
Yeah.
But you know that at some point you're going to sit down, you're going to have 12 or even 20. You can get 20 meatballs if you want, with the gravy, with the mash, with the peas, and the lingonberry jam. And then, of course, the dime cake for dessert.
Isn't it free refills for the coffee?
Is it free refills for the coffee?
Or maybe
Why don't we go down there one day, work from home, from IKEA?
You know what they do that? I was in IKEA in Greenwich, and they had like the desks set up there, and I swear I saw people just working from the IKEA.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
But yeah, I think I'm a big fan of IKEA. I mean, we talked about Prezzo, like going there every day if you want to. You wouldn't be too much out of pocket if you were to eat there most days.
No, it's damn cheap. Yeah.
And that's why they hold on to all their money.
Now it all makes sense. So yeah, and it did actually say in this research paper that they believe this could be applied globally. But now you got me thinking. Hang on a minute.
But our IKEA's around the world.
True,
Yeah.
true. So any of us could manage our finances by going to IKEA. Just one more thing that Sweden very good at, ABBA.
Oh, yeah.
ABBA, of course. Yeah.
Love a bit of ABBA. Well, wait, the Eurovision, didn't they win the Eurovision?
They did, yeah. It was a bit of a... I almost felt this was a bit of a fix, because what happened was Sweden's entry was a past winner who won by a country mile years ago.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, they bring back this past winner. And I remember hearing in the event that it had racked up hundreds, millions, in fact, of views on YouTube before it even happened. And it just so happened that if Sweden were to win, they'd be hosting it on, I believe, the 50th
ABBA something. Yeah.
celebration of when ABBA won it, or wherever in Eurovision. So I think that was a fix, Tony. I'm sorry. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that one just sounded too good to be true.
You know what? I did look at the performer. I forgot. I'm so sorry. I forgot
her name.
But I did think
forgetful.
I didn't think it was
forgettable. I should say.
I thought the little kind of the wall coming down on her was quite interesting, and remember the fingernails.
Yeah,
the tune was all right.
No, forgettable for me, Tony. I preferred Israel's entry. That was a really good one, and I think Estonia were quite good as well.
Oh right,
what was that? But anyway, that's long gone. But Tony, we've had a few emails in again this week, and that inbox is pinging like crazy. We do reply to everybody eventually.
Yeah, I need to make sure that I've got enough space on my account. You know, all the gigabytes that are kind of filled out.
Should we buy extra storage?
I think I might need to put that on the list, Chris. Yeah, I need to buy more storage for Gmail.
Maybe like 20 terabytes.
Possibly, yeah.
But I just want to read one out that came in from Stacey. She said, "Hi, Tony. Hi, Chris. Love the podcast." And she's alluded to the situation that Craig was in last week. Do you remember Craig from Chichester, who was in a bit of a quandary? A love affair, let's call it. An affair of the heart, Craig, with his boss.
Bit on the side type of situation.
Yeah, well, we just don't know the detail, but Craig said he would quit his job there and then if he won the lottery, because his boss has said they can only be together if they don't work together. Stacey said she has been in a similar situation to Craig. And Stacey's just said, look, Craig, get out of it. I think I'm paraphrasing, but it's almost get out of it. She says, it is best to find someone who wants to be with you for who you are right now. And I thought that was a beautiful message from Stacey. But, you know, that's just Craig. You don't have to listen to what Stacey says. Maybe there are other listeners who want to get involved in this advice. But Stacey sort of said, look, find someone who values you for who you are right now, here and now.
She's not wrong. You know, you want a partner that values you, for sure. Maybe Craig's boss has this type of thing where they don't like someone that is not as progressed in their career as them.
Yeah, you're right.
And actually the situation is that Craig is reporting into his boss, and she just, or he, she, we don't actually know the gender.
Don't know the gender.
Just is a bit of a stickler for something like that. It says, no, I want to be in a relationship where someone is driven and ambitious and can't get over that, you know, Craig is reporting into them.
Yeah. Could be a power dynamic.
Could be a power dynamic.
But, you know, so what you're saying is maybe Craig needs to find a promotion, almost get another job somewhere else that is a promotion, and then come back to his boss and just say, look at me now, baby.
Isn't that what the boss said? They have to not work together. Yeah.
So that could work a treat. But Stacey's kind of said, look, Craig, I'm paraphrasing, but she basically said, get out of there. You know, find somebody who wants to be with you right now for who you are.
I think for Craig, if he's not on holiday, that is, because we did tell him to go on holiday.
Tell him, yeah.
It's that when he comes back from holiday, if he sees this relationship going anywhere, his boss should stand up on their desk in front of everyone and declare their undying love for Craig.
Yeah.
And then, like, the music will come out.
Ultimatum, Craig. Yeah. Give your boss an ultimatum.
Yeah.
What music? Maybe ABBA. Oh, sure.
I don't know. I always think of that film Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that
yeah.
when he goes down the subway and there's a big crowd,
Yeah.
and then it's all busy, and then the female love interest runs down. She takes off her heels and she runs down the steps, and then she's trying to get to him before he heads off. And then she's talking through all the kind of the New York workers, and they communicate between each other. And then, like, basically, she goes, "Oh, can you get that guy at the other end?" And then it's like a builder, and he talks to some other guy who's an electrician to get to the other dude, and they communicate, and then they both kind of stand up on each other like they're crowd surfing, and then they come and.
That's what
It's probably 80s romance, yeah, something like that. Maybe like Craig is going down the tube and it's busy, and then the boss runs after him and just declares his undying love, and then everyone starts clapping and hugging each other, and it's really kind of like...
Hey, look, Craig, if you want us to be there, just let us know, and we can come down and we can make this happen for you.
Yeah, we could put them on the podcast.
Yeah, we could record the whole thing.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I think that'd be a story to tell the children.
It will. Very nice segue. But just quickly to go through the other emails. We've had a few, actually, Tony. So people have come in with what they would do if they did win the lottery. So Brian from Wigan, I love this one. Brian from Wigan says he would dress in his scruffiest clothes, right? Reebok trackies or whatever it is. And go straight down to a luxury car dealership in London. So he's in Wigan. He'd go down to London in his scruffiest clothes, and they'd be like, "Oh, do you have an appointment?" And he'd say, "No, I want that car right there, and I want to buy it right now," and just see what happens. I think it'd be a good social experiment, that one, Tony.
Oh, what? He thinks that with his scruffy clothes and northern accent, they'll go like, "Nah, this guy's just he's literally joking around. He can't afford this car."
Yeah.
And then if they turn him down, he'll have all that cash going like, "Look what you missed out on."
Yeah, exactly, like Pretty Woman sort of thing. Yeah.
Why not?
I love that one. We've also had George from Canary Wharf, who said he would sit on it for a while because he thinks that's the right thing to do. But he would go on a little shopping trip. He wouldn't spend more than 3%. But he would love to get himself a Patek Philippe, which is that luxury watch brand from Geneva, Switzerland, and they look stunning. Those watches, Patek Philippe. So I'll get behind that one as well.
I've never heard of that brand, but it sounds like I'm always just the common Rolex.
Yeah. No, honestly,
it's better.
Look this one up. Patek Philippe is out of this world style of watches. We have Vanessa from Croydon, who I don't know what you think about this one, Tony. She simply said she would do a weekly shop at M&S if she won the lottery and get a load of Percy pigs. So I thought a weekly shop at M&S wasn't that out of the ordinary.
Might be for some in some of these, the cost of living
crisis. Yeah,
she could go to M&S every week.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, twice a week maybe. And then Tony, I think you had one from Mark, who emailed in from Bolton.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny enough because I just saw the kind of Thailand in the subject line. I thought, Thailand, that's an interesting one.
Talking about holidays.
Holidays. I was like,
best holiday destination, Thailand.
Yeah, I thought I won a holiday to Thailand. I looked for the email, but it was just an email from Mark from Bolton, and he said he would just get a one-way ticket to Thailand to de-stress. So I've never been to Thailand, but I hear loads of people, it's a great place to visit. I hear it's great food, great beaches, great culture. But a lot of middle-aged men say that, that's what they go there for. And Mark I believe he's middle-aged. And hopefully he gets the de-stress from just enjoying the culture there.
Is he going to go to Pattaya? I don't know. But Mark, I used to live in Thailand.
Oh, right.
And it's the best destination you can possibly go to. And I'm sure everything that Mark wants to do out there with his one-way ticket is above board. You've got the mountains up north. Great food everywhere.
Yeah.
He probably just wants to go and explore. Great coffee as well in those mountains. It's probably that which he's looking for.
He's a fan. He must be a fan of spicy food.
Yes,
because the food is quite spicy and
it is spicy.
So
I think that's what it is.
And exotic fruits, I believe they have in that part of the world. Certain fruits that you can't get
anywhere else. Rambutan and things like that. It's delicious. And just the last one, just to get through it, we read out last week Ola from Krakow. Her email where she said she would open a rescue animal shelter And we were just wondering, how would she prioritise? We asked that last week, and we replied to her email, and she said, in no uncertain terms, she said, this animal shelter is just for dogs. So in the initial email, she said animal shelter, but now it's clear the shelter is just for dogs. So if there are any other animals in need, she will turn them away at the door in Krakow. So, Tony, I don't know what you think about that.
She just called it a dog shelter.
Yeah, she should have. Yeah, she's going to say animal shelter on the door, and then they'll turn up with cats or whatever. She'll say, no, sling your hook.
So a pure cat needs a home. It's just, no. Man's
Not
best
here.
friend has to be a dog. Hey, I'm not going to dictate what anyone does with their money. If Ola just wants to be just dogs and she doesn't want to be inclusive of all other animals, then who am I to say?
Well, if it's only for canines, that's fine, because, Tony, we haven't said anything about anything as sort of noble and noteworthy as this, so I'm going to get behind the...
To be honest, we haven't seen any news stories of any cats driving a car.
No, not yet.
Not yet. So
Not yet.
maybe that might convince Ola if she hears about a story of a cat doing extraordinary things.
Pussy galore behind the wheel. Who knows?
Cool. Well, if we move on to our topic of the week, Chris. So our topic of the week is, how much would you leave your children if you won the lottery? And I think this is an important question, especially if you have children already, or if you're thinking...
None that I know of, as I said.
Oh, okay. But if you do have children that you do know about, Chris, it's something...
No, I don't. I just said...
you don't. Oh, you don't have...
Why are you challenging me in this?
I guess let's address that. Children are damn expensive.
They are.
So if I want to retire early, it's probably in my best interest, Chris, is not to have any children. Definitely don't have them if you want to retire early. If the true goal, if you are completely committed to retiring early, I mean, don't take my advice. I'll just say, just don't have children. It's like you'll reach that journey a lot quicker.
If you're just a numbers guy or girl,
pure numbers,
then I think you're going to look at those numbers and you're just going to say, no, it's not worth it. But, we just talked about it earlier. There's so much more to consider in this question. And let's face it, another point is, it doesn't matter how much money you've got, you get older, you can't walk anymore. Obviously we spoke the other week about the couple that just booked 57, was it, cruises?
51 cruises because they couldn't afford the care home of their choice.
Exactly. Imagine you could move in with your kids if you had kids. So there's a lot of different things. We talked about your legacy, slightly tongue-in-cheek, but you're leaving something behind on this earth. But, Tony, there are other people who turn around and they'll say, why would I want to bring kids into this world?
Oh, yeah, in its current state, yeah.
But yeah, that's all the considerations there.
Not only kids, we could talk about costs of kids in general, whether you're just just the bare basics of, like, if you have a baby, you've got to pay for, like, the car seat, the pram, the clothes, the food, nappies. Let alone going way ahead. We're talking about, like, from baby to, like, when they go to uni, about the uni fees and, like, the cost of accommodation and stuff like that. But even in the in-between, some kids, they want the latest gadgets. They want the PlayStation 5. They see a kid wearing some designer gear that they should get.
If you do have kids, how old do your kids have to be before they get a PS5 or an iPhone or a Xiaomi in your case or whatever it is? Oh no, what's it called? Huawei.
Huawei, yeah.
Huawei.
It really depends, because it depends on how I'm doing, so whether what they can get. If I'm not doing that well, no way are they getting an iPhone. They're getting like an Alcatel with not even a smartphone. It's just what I can afford. Hence playing the lottery. But I guess the point that I'm kind of driving at is that some kids can be spoiled as well. You could end up.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean, actually.
Yeah.
Of not so much about the money, but should they have access to a smartphone until they're, let's say, 12. 12 is the number that often comes up. You have to be 12 to get an Instagram account or whatever, TikTok.
I feel like when you're into, like, I guess, secondary school in the UK, like year 7, that's when kids start going like, oh, what do you have? Do you have this and that? Primary school, maybe not as much. But
Would you ban them from social media?
I don't know. Again, these are things that I don't really know. Well, certain social media, I'll probably say you can probably have a YouTube account because that's not really social media, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe Instagram. I don't know.
Yeah, and just, you follow them and see what they're up to. But then they could be DMing. We just don't know. They could be DMing people or what.
Yeah, I think I'll probably need to do more of my research where the creepers hang out because there's a lot of.
Well, isn't that on most of the platforms you're on?
Oh yeah, see what platforms well, yeah. We want to make sure the social media has precautions in place.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess, were you spoiled as a kid, Chris?
I wouldn't say I was spoiled. I had a fantastic upbringing where I got anything I wanted.
Oh,
would you call that being spoiled?
I mean, it depends what you wanted. Like, if you wanted like a PlayStation, would you get it the next day? Would your parents queue up the night before to get it on the day of release?
No, absolutely not. I wouldn't have got any of those things right away. And Tony, I think it is important. You've got to work hard to be able to get what you want, right? What about you? Were you sort of mollycoddled as a kid?
I wouldn't say so, to be honest. I think I would say no, I wasn't spoiled. In a way, I what I did have, I actually really appreciated it because in a way,
a roof over your head.
Yeah, roof over. I'm just happy to get food on the table, really.
Yeah.
And if I've got the hand-me-downs from my sister, I'm pleased with that. And yeah, when everyone was having like the PlayStations and stuff, I was just happy to get the SNES. I was always a console behind, but that's fine. Still a gaming console, right? I'm still entertained.
Did you ever have the Game Boy?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Game Boy.
Classic.
Pokemon.
Actually, no, I didn't. Actually, I didn't have Pokemon Red and Blue when it came out.
Oh right.
I had to wait till I got finally a PC to get the emulated version of Pokemon Silver.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Wow.
So I feel like I missed out on I think I did have a Game Boy like way before. I had Tetris on it. I think I had a battery leak in the back. When the alkaline kind of leaked from the battery and it didn't work after that.
Okay.
But talking about, that's kids can be spoiled, and I guess when we even look at not just of ourselves, but I was looking into kind of famous people who actually have children, and they are minted. They've got millions, some even billions. And I was curious to see what are their thoughts on leaving some of those riches behind for their children. So definitely one that kind of stuck out for me was Bill Gates. So the founder, I guess, of Microsoft. He's only one of the richest people on earth, substantial wealth. But he's also a major philanthropist with his surprisingly former wife, Melinda. I was actually surprised to hear that they weren't together. I don't know what the reason is.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that, but I'd forgotten.
Because it always comes together when they talk about their Bill and Melinda Foundation.
Yeah.
It's a foundation that they've kind of founded.
Tony, that is a shame.
We should probably look into that.
We need to figure out what went wrong. Maybe somebody can email in and let us know what happened there.
Let's be honest. He's a billionaire. He's got options, isn't it? Or maybe she's called it quits. I don't know. I don't know.
We just don't know.
We just know men have, it's always the men that want to kind of look at other options, basically, especially when you're a billionaire. But I think, Bill Gates is he's a noble guy. But one of the quotes that I read out about, what would he do? Or what would he give to his children, essentially? And a quote that I saw was that, for what he said is, it's not a favour to kids to have them have huge sums of wealth. It distorts anything they might do, creating their own path. So he seems to be saying that having huge amounts of wealth handed to, I guess, to his children will actually impact their kind of finding their own path in life in a negative way.
You just don't have to work for anything, do you? You've just got all the money you want. You can just play around. You know, you need that challenge, don't you? Of okay, I've got an education now. I've come out.
Yeah.
I need to be able to actually get some money in my bank account to be able to find somewhere to live, to put food on the table. And you've got to work hard in that job to be able to progress up. What do you think, Tony?
I'm not sure if I fully agree with that statement.
Really?
I mean, in a way that I said, look, he's saying that having huge sums of wealth distorts anything they might do, creating their own path. Their path, I'm sure, as a child of Bill Gates and Melinda, they've been exposed to technology. They've been exposed to some of the philanthropy work that Bill and Melinda are doing, like trying to, improve the earth. They may have massive ambitions of actually maybe kind of like, I'm looking at space. I want to progress what Bill and Melinda have started on improving Earth. Maybe it can't be saved, and we need to look elsewhere. So I'm not going for the Elon Musk kind of route. Go like, we might start looking at like how do we live on other planets. That's not going to come cheap. They're going to have to go through the whole process of trying to earn those millions and billions by themselves to reach those ambitions that they thought they can carry on.
But who's to say? That's a question. Obviously, they've got the Bill and Melinda Foundation, and I'm sure there's loads of other causes they give to. Let's put it this way. What do we believe, or who do we believe, is going to make better use of that money? All of these charitable foundations, or whatever kids Bill and Melinda have? We don't know. I'm just putting it out there.
But who's going to manage that foundation when they're gone? If it's not the kids, I don't know. But yeah, that's his thoughts. If I move on to a celebrity, I guess I'm a big fan of growing up. Bit of a inspiration. I mean, I love the movies. Jackie Chan. Are you a fan of Jackie Chan?
Absolutely.
He's almost that global superstar that I feel like all people just kind of...
Everyone knows who he is, right?
That they know who he is. And a quote that I thought was quite funny. There is a bit of history with Jackie Chan and his kids. He seems to not have a great relationship with his kids. But a quote that I read is that, I think it's in regards to his son. Jackie Chan said, if he is capable, he can make his own money. If he is not, then he will just be wasting my money.
Oh. But I mean, he's got a point.
That's kind of some tough love right there, I feel like.
It's tough love, but isn't it true? He's going to waste the family fortune if he doesn't know what he's doing, his son.
I didn't read into where the actual fortune would go then, if it's not to his
well, that's the point, because I think Bill and Melinda, we know that they are donating to charitable causes all the time. Yeah. And so, as I said, I think we can kind of accept that if it's not going to their children, it might well be going to some foundations or charities that are actually better placed to do good. But what's Jackie Chan going to do with it instead? You
know what he should do? He should set up he, as a kid, he started in those Chinese opera schools.
Did he?
It's just really like quite intense school where they train them in all types of things for Chinese opera. So that includes a lot of gymnastics. It's really quite grueling.
So that's
training.
where he learned to ply his trade.
Yeah, to do all that kind of martial arts and all that type of stuff. One of the things that I was thinking about is that after Jackie Chan, Jet Li, even Donnie Yen, all these kind of Hong Kong stars, they're growing old. What's the next crop of them? I don't see what's the next crop of stars that are coming up. And it's a bit worrying for Hong Kong cinema. It's like, who is the next Jackie Chan? Yeah. Maybe you can invest in a school to just create the next set of superstars. Because I don't see anyone. I mean, I haven't been following kind of Hong Kong cinema for that long, but I'm actually a bit sad. Who's the next Jackie Chan?
There've been rising political tensions, of course, in Hong Kong over recent years. Maybe it's discouraged.
Yeah.
People. So I think you're right. That'd be a really good way to do it.
Keep
karate school or something like that.
Yeah, keep it like a martial art movie school.
Yeah.
I think just to keep the entertainment going, keep the Jackie Chan kind of style alive. But yeah, that's Jackie Chan. I mean, there's another one on the list there, Chris. I don't know what your thoughts are. I mean, might be your favourite chef.
This is he's certainly on my list of the top chefs in the world. And his name is Mr. Gordon Ramsay, and we've spoken about him before. We know at times he can be foul-mouthed. But my goodness, he makes up for it with not just his food, but in my opinion, his personality. Very engaging.
It's entertaining for sure.
Entertaining. And he said, it's definitely not going to them, his fortune. And that's not in a mean way. It's to not spoil them. The only thing I've agreed with Towner, his daughter, I believe, is that they get a 25% deposit on a flat, but not the whole flat. So that, and that shows you again, look, he's gone a long way. You probably only really need a 10% deposit. He's gone the whole 25% deposit. But darling, if you want to be able to get this flat, you need to be able to make up the other 75% on a mortgage. So he's saying to her, look, I'm not just going to get you a 5 million flat outright. I'm going to give you 25%. So, for example, that's 1.25 mil on a 5 mil. She needs to be able to make up a 3.75 mil mortgage. So that's not going to happen, quite possibly.
I love how clear he is. He's saying, I'm not trying to be mean.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I just don't want to spoil them. And 25% deposit on a flat, okay, fair enough. That's quite a decent leg up to get on the property ladder.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, if I was his daughter and I'm going, look, interest rates are going up. I can't afford the payments every month. I'm going to have to lose the house or I'm going to be out on the street. I wonder what he would do. I reckon I don't know. Would he go, well, tough, you're going to have to lose the house then? Or
it's going to be repossessed. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Tony. I'd probably buy my kid a flat. If I had the wealth of Gordon Ramsay, I'd probably buy my kid a flat. And you just say, look, you need to work for everything else. Then again, I don't know. They could just end up living in the flat all the time, never leaving it.
But then
you got to afford the upkeep, I suppose.
Yeah, the heating, the water, the council tax, whatever. The upkeep, repairs.
The jacuzzi.
The jacuzzi. Who knows? They might even maintain a room for when you're eventually old and you can't take care of yourself. You might look after the parents. But then, Gordon Ramsay. I think that's kind of balanced. But for me, like you, I'll buy my kid the whole flat.
Our favourite Ramsay, right?
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay. Even above Ramsay Street, which Neighbours is. I think it's now out on Amazon.
Yes, I still need to. That's on my list, Chris. I need to catch up on that. All the Ramsay. I mean, Dave. I haven't looked up, but I wonder what Dave Ramsay would do. He's a multimillionaire. I think he would buy his kids a flat. But that's just me, because one of his kind of sayings is that live like no one else, so you can give like no one else.
Oh, I like that.
So I really like that one.
Yeah.
And then finally, I guess if we just touch on one more celebrity, is the Zuck.
Zucking hell. Is that Mark Zuckerberg?
It is indeed. So Mark Zuckerberg, obviously founder of Facebook.
He's not in our top 10, is he? What? Sorry, I take that back, because we're going out on Instagram and
yeah. Well, top 10 of favourite celebrities.
Yeah.
No, I do like...
oh, you do? Yeah. You're right. I like him too. Yeah. We have to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I just like the idea of him just wearing the same clothes every day, even though he's a billionaire, and I just totally get that, because it just takes the thinking out of it.
Yeah.
If you're happy with it, it's a good fitting t-shirt and the jeans.
Mind you, what I'd do probably if I were a billionaire like him, I'd just get a personal stylist and just say, look, you get out there, buy me all my clothes, and just dress me. Yeah,
just
I'm not just actually dress me. No. I'm not even going to bother putting my socks on. You need to put them on for me.
Are you saying you're going to be butt naked and they're going to be putting the clothes on you every day?
They'll be blindfolded. Just for my girlfriends listening, they will be blindfolded. But
will there have to be a particular gender? Will your girlfriend allow another woman to dress you fully?
These are all questions we're going to have to broach nearer the time.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I prefer a woman to do it, probably because I think they have more style. but that could be sexist. I retract that statement.
No.
Actually.
I think. Well, it depends. I think.
There are some very stylish men.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are male shoppers. I would say.
Yeah.
If you go to like a Savile Row, they'll probably kit you up or.
Oh, absolutely. You're right.
For sure.
Well, that's it. You know, and I watched the Beckham documentary, David Beckham, Netflix, and he has picked out for his week ahead a different suit for every day.
You know what? I do that when I go on holiday. What my outfit is for that day.
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense. If you're going to the pool or if you're going to a certain excursion, you want to know what you're wearing, especially if there's a dinner at a nice place. You know, it saves the thinking.
Do you do that for Prezzo?
No, not really, because Prezzo is such
casual.
a welcoming place. It's such a welcoming establishment that they accept anyone. But yeah, Zuckerberg. Just to go back to another. I guess he is a billionaire as well. He's definitely up there. But this is going back to 2015. So
right.
He actually addressed this in a Facebook post.
Oh, of course.
So immediately after the birth of their first child. That they said that they'll be donating 99% of their fortune to charity. So the post was addressed to their first child, and it read, "We want you to grow up in a world better than ours today.
So sanctimonious.
We will do our part to make this happen, not only because we love you, but also because we have a moral responsibility to all children in the next generation."
Oh, spare me.
But 99% of a billion, or even probably a massive, even more billions over this time, I'm assuming, that's still a good chunk left over. If they want to just donate 99% and the other 1%.
You're right. 1% of 1% of 10 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah, I would say they're basically the kids are all going to be all right.
Yeah,
sure.
You're right. But I just love the way that they've made it sound like they're doing the right thing for the whole planet.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a moral responsibility to all children in the next generation. Okay, what are you doing then? Come on, let's talk about what's happening to the kids using Facebook and Instagram now from the age of 10 or whatever.
Well, I think I would probably prefer if you said 100%, and I'll be like, okay, this guy's serious now.
Yeah. And I want to know exactly what the Zucks are actually zucking doing with this money to help people. Because I'm not saying... And listen, I think Instagram, great platform, and you can follow us on Instagram as well. And I'm sure the Instagram algorithm doesn't penalise people who complain about the Zuckerbergs.
Well, it's free speech. You're doing this free speech. I love Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, just to balance it out.
Yeah.
But, I'd love to know what are they doing.
Well, they just said I guess once they die. I mean, they didn't say when they're going to donate the 99%.
And they haven't said when they're going to die.
Yeah. So I guess they're probably going, look, we're going to do our thing for now. Like I think Mark's focused on that new Facebook glass thing. The glasses.
Oh, is that the Ray-Ban thing?
Yeah, the Ray-Ban thing. Or like
that did look. You know what,
that looks
Zach?
good.
I did like that one.
And the Ray-Ban thing, I think that's on his collab. But also, is he training with that? Talk about boxing or MMA? Was it the fighting Elon Musk?
Yes, I forgot about that.
Is that even happening? So maybe
they seem to be putting that one off. I don't know who's.
I think he needs to prioritise that first.
Yeah,
and then go onto this. Or maybe he's going like, oh, after I die, I'll donate 99%. That'll be someone else's problem to work out.
But doesn't that just prove the point? There's two billionaires, Zuckerberg and Musk, and they keep saying the right things.
Yeah.
But what are they actually doing that's positive with all their billions?
I would talk about that a major
fight.
All that money, donate that to charity. The money from all that pay-per-views, I think that'd be substantial for sure. But that's what the celebrities will do.
Yeah. What about you, Tony? What would you do?
For me,
I think we got a picture of it. But yeah, if you had kids, you're a millionaire. How much are you going to leave to them?
Okay, say I've won the lottery. I've won 3.8
minimum.
I'm saying that I'm going to leave them everything.
Every last penny.
Well, okay. Let me just say, I'm going to leave them whatever I have left over, and it might not be much. But naturally, if I'm no longer alive, the house is going to be theirs, right? Who else is it going to?
Yeah.
So my goal, if I was to keep it short and snappy, is that I would want to leave them everything that I have in terms of assets liquid, whatever kind of cash I have, yeah, it'll definitely go to my children. And I think it's not spoiling them. Like, it's about 3.8 after the house and after like school and university fees. It's just really giving them a little booster in terms of a leg up.
What about private school? We both went to state school. Would you consider that for your kids, or do you think that's not
3.8 million? Funny enough, I have in the UK they call it private, they call it public school, don't they? It makes it so confusing.
It's confusing.
But I knew some public school educated, I guess, classmates that I met in kind of college, and then obviously uni, and eventually in the workplace.
Yeah.
We all went through almost the same journey in that regard. I think the network is probably better when you get out in the world. It's all about networking.
True.
They get all the best internships or get into kind of check out, work placements and stuff like that. But also the class sizes are smaller, I think, in public schools. So you get more dedicated teaching. So I think they prepare you better for kind of exams and stuff like that. But I think they also teach you other skills that, from what I hear, it's all about how to conduct yourself, about like stuff like I didn't know about like when you got like when you go to a fancy dinner, you've got all these kind of cutleries, like which one to use first, what type of, where do you put your cup, how to
life lessons. I think stand you in good stead and help you mix in the right social circles.
Yeah, it's like how the high society kind of conduct themselves. But yeah, I'll leave everything. I don't know what you're thinking, Chris.
I think I understand, Tony, what Gordon Ramsay was saying in Jackie Chan of if kids don't have to work for it, they might miss out on valuable life lessons. I think, Tony, it is character building to plough your own furrow. And if you're just sitting back and you're receiving money hand over fist, do you have that motivation that I was talking about before to get out there and work hard and do something yourself? But I'm a very generous guy, I think, especially with my family. And so if I had kids, I think I'd leave them almost anything. But it's difficult because right now we're not in a position where we can look to give impactful amounts to charity. Maybe if we were millionaires, we start getting really invested. It's like you were saying about KSI earlier. He's decided to get really invested in boxing.
Yeah.
We might be millionaires and get really invested in charitable causes. I'm not calling out KSI. I know he's somebody that you really like. But do you see what I mean? And then you might think, well, okay, maybe I'll leave a little bit here, a little bit there.
That's a great point, Chris. I think, like you mentioned, he's a multi-millionaire. He's clearly driven. Like, why a multi-millionaire? Why is he putting himself through grueling training sessions and even getting punched, in the face continuously, like literally physical harm? Why go through all that and then suffer the heartbreak of getting a loss when he could be like, I'm not, I'm just chilling, playing FIFA and like...
He could be giving it to an animal shelter. Tony, I didn't want to say it before, but this guy sounds like an egomaniac.
Well,
he might even be a narcissist because it just sounds quite attention-seeking to me. But anyway, just to get away from that one in case it's controversial, I think, if you've got millions, you want to support your kids.
Yes.
And I think, you want to be able to say to them, right, kids, what do you want to do with your career now? I'm going to support you. I'm going to put money behind you. What's your business idea? Right? You come to me, you give me an elevator.
Jeff Bezos.
Exactly. And I think that's what I want to do. So I wouldn't want them to just, waste all the money away. So maybe you can get involved and just help them, give them the support that they need to make a success of themselves. That's what I would say, Tone.
I think it also comes down to like, if you won the lottery, it's not in the grand scheme of things against all the very wealthy people. If you want to, it's still not a lot of money. If you want to build an empire for the future, you need to keep building on top of that. You don't want to keep starting from zero against your legacy starts from zero to build up. You want to keep building until you've actually got, a Chris old empire.
Well, like the Rockefellers.
Yeah, the Rockefellers, they didn't grow to that level by going like, oh, sorry, kids, you've got to start from zero because we don't want to we don't want to spoil you, and you're gonna
Murdochs. Yeah, you wouldn't have found Rupert Murdoch.
No.
And he's still alive, actually, though, isn't he, Rupert? But I reckon he's left it behind to the family, and he's very close to. I wouldn't say close to death.
Well, he's not.
He's not in great shape right now.
I mean, age catches up with all of us, really.
It does.
Because I keep getting confused with what the Murdochs doing, and I don't watch Succession, but I think they
I haven't seen it either, but
it's almost like it is based on.
Yeah.
Cool. So if we move on to kind of segment 3.
Segment 3.
Picking next week's numbers. If I start, Chris. On the theme of children, obviously we talked quite a bit about leaving substantial amounts of money to our children.
Yeah, children, is that Philip Schofield again?
Well, I don't know what Philip Schofield will leave his children. He's got quite a bit of money. But yeah, we haven't heard from... I mean, we don't know where he is. Maybe he will pop up at some point.
We don't know.
But something that came up this week, or was it last week rather, was not only children, but children's safety. So children's safety is paramount, and I'm sure everyone would agree. Was a school bus driver in America, so 6-year-old Amala Hannah, she was fired from her job. So she's a bus driver for drinking on the job, as she didn't know White Claw was alcoholic. So White Claw is a beverage. I think it's popular in America. It comes in a kind of can that looks like a Red Bull type of can. I believe they call it a hard seltzer. And she was drinking it.
I like those hard seltzers. Yeah, I've had them. Brewdog do a hard seltzer.
Yeah, so I guess they're
water
quite
with alcohol,
refreshing.
Flavouring.
Yeah, refreshing. Basically, the controversy is that she's drinking on the job, and she's been driving this bus, driving seats for 15 years, but apparently she was drinking these White Claws, and she was like, I didn't know that they were alcoholic.
Do you believe it, Tony?
I mean, isn't that the first thing you would say if you got caught drinking and driving? Oh, sorry, I didn't know. But here's the actual extra bit of detail that might actually say that it is kind of true that she didn't know, is that she's 60. She's not in good health at the moment. She's undergoing chemotherapy for cancer.
Oh,
so I saw a picture. She's got like no hair, like the whole kind of the chemo's kind of.
Okay.
So it looks legit.
Oh, okay.
And with the chemotherapy, she's lost her ability to taste whether drinks are alcoholic or not.
Is that what the doctors have said, or is that what she says?
That's what she's saying.
Okay.
In the.
Well, I think we give her the benefit of the doubt. I mean, because these seltzers, as I say, they're very refreshing. They taste great. To be honest, even without any other problem, you may not taste it and realise immediately that it's alcoholic.
Some of them look like soft drinks. They're quite hard to kind of differentiate. But she says she mistakenly believed she was sipping a regular fruit-flavoured seltzer, not a White Claw hard seltzer. But she's been fired. I mean, that's the latest that they're like, well, you're drinking alcohol, driving kids on a school bus. You've been doing it for 15 years, which is, again, that's a long time to be doing that. And
has she been drinking on the job for 15 years, though? It's just a recent development.
I'm guessing probably more recent. I hope so. Unless she's been getting away with it for 15 years.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe she's got used to it after.
Tony, she might have previously been slipping alcohol into a Coca-Cola bottle, and then she's got more bold over the year to... Excuse the pun, that wasn't deliberate at all, actually. No, that wasn't.
Straight up holding out the can.
But yeah, and so she's like, oh, these ones, they don't really look like they're alcohol. I'm just going to have it straight out the can.
Possibly. I mean, I generally think a lot of people, I've given her the benefit of the doubt. They said this could be a complete misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And apparently a GoFundMe page has been set up for her and thousands have already been donated. So a lot of people have kind of sided with her and gone, you know what, I think it's an honest mistake, and here's a GoFundMe. You're 60, you're going through chemotherapy.
Well, yes.
So,
yeah. It just seems to be a great way to make money now, doesn't it? You know, if you get some sort of headline in the news, and I'm not questioning this lady at all, but I'm just saying, I've seen it so many times, even on social media, where there's some hard luck story,
Yeah.
and the next thing, people have donated 200 grand or whatever on a GoFundMe.
I mean, like, if you pull the heartstrings and people feel passionate about it, yeah, they want to feel like they're doing their part and helping someone out. So, in general, it's a good thing. But, you know, I'm not saying there might be some chances out there that are actually playing the game.
I can't remember them right now, but I've definitely seen some of these GoFundMes where I just thought, this is ridiculous.
But, hey, whatever way to achieve financial freedom, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're trying it with the lottery.
In a way, they've won. That's almost a little mini lottery, right? If you manage to get a GoFundMe set up for you, and some of them get to the hundreds of thousands, you know, you're doing all right. But yeah, 15 years she was driving, so that's the number I'm going for. That's the first number. 15. 15.
Yeah, I like that one.
So I guess with the second one I've got here is, first of all, question, Chris. Do you collect anything?
Well, I've mentioned it before about metal detecting.
Yes.
So I'll go around with a metal detector. It's my cover story, you see. I don't really enjoy doing it, but I have to. So I'll go metal detecting, looking for anything out there, ideally gold or silver, precious metals. Usually it's just scrap metal. But yeah, I have a collection of scrap metal.
Interesting.
Most of my wardrobe is just scrap metal, actually, Tony.
That's good. I mean, if you're collecting gold and silver, that's definitely worth something, I guess. So,
yeah, bottle caps as well.
But funny enough, you said that because this is almost very, very relevant to almost your collection.
Oh, right.
Where in Japan, manhole covers are become collector items.
Right.
Specifically, the city of Kyoto is to sell its obsolete manhole covers in a bid to cash in on the public's fascination with the decorative pieces. So, from what I've learned is that these manhole covers, they need to be replaced every 30 to 60 years.
Okay.
But the Japanese, they're very inventive, aren't they? So these manhole covers, not only are they just the plain, whatever material they're made from, steel, metal, basically, they've actually decorated the top of them, so they've got bits of artwork on them.
So it's not like the rubbish ones we have.
No.
Artwork on them.
They've actually got some.
They do everything so well over there. Why don't we listen to them? HS2. Do you think HS2 would have been scrapped in Japan?
Probably not. It would have been delivered on time.
They built a high-speed rail right through the whole island.
Yeah. So.
Or the many islands.
I think it's definitely creative that they're like, you know what? I think people are interested in these manhole covers. Apparently, they're going for about 3,000 yen if you want to buy them. That's about $20 a piece. And yeah, you can buy them. And some of them are actually considered a steal by collectors, keen to own a slice of the city's history in the form of a 90-kilogram piece of industrial art.
It's heavy.
Yeah, so yeah, if you hold on to one, maybe it's an interesting design. That might be worth a few bob later
Well, that's
down the
what
line.
I'm thinking. I mean, $20, that's not much at all.
Yeah.
So I might actually try and get a hold of one.
Yeah.
If they ship it over here.
I don't know, they seem quite sought after, but just give an idea how much they actually cost for a new manhole cover.
For a new one. Right.
It's about 60,000 yen. So 60,000 new, but after all those decades when they don't need them anymore, they're selling them down for 3,000 yen.
So they're not really making much.
No, they sell them at a real cut price from what originally new. I think it served its purpose, right?
Yeah. So
You're gonna get a new
gone
one.
on the scrap. On
But then
the heap.
it's a unique investment, right? If you purchase one for $20, it could be worth a lot if someone wants to collect them all. But $20 for one, so that's 20 is the number I'm going for.
Yeah, I like that one, Tony. And I will definitely try and get a hold of them. Maybe if we can get a hold of some of our friends in Japan to try and do that for us. But yeah, so, well, we've talked about it, Tony, the last couple of weeks on the pod, which is about this bed bug crisis that is sweeping Europe now. It started in Paris. It's very much taken hold in London. And a friend of mine in Madrid got in contact with me earlier today. It's now sweeping through Madrid as well. The bed bugs, as I've said, are just rampaging from bedroom to bedroom.
I almost want to check where.
You just, yeah,
I thought I saw
itchy now.
something.
Yeah, we've got to be careful. But in the UK, at the very least, I've got some really good news back on the
finally.
topic of man's best friend that we talk about so often. So sniffer dogs have been deployed to seek out bed bugs in the UK in hotels and homes. So these sniffer dogs can actually go in and they're trained to identify bed bugs. And in fact, I even read that they can even go into a room with bed bugs and seal the air and then bring it back to the sniffer dog who can identify and will just start barking mad if it's identified.
That's great.
I just love this. I'm going to have to say, I just saw this on social media, the Daily Star headline, which said, sniffer dogs to hunt bed bugs. Army of trained mutts will root out bitey scumbags. The bitey scumbags will be defeated.
I think that is an apt description of bed bugs. I mean, I hear they are horrific. And they're relentless and so resilient to get rid of. So, I mean, man's best friend. I mean, no wonder people...
It's so poetically beautiful.
Remember Ola? Is it Ola?
Ola from Krakow. Yeah.
Is she breeding a whole load of bed bug sniffer dogs and sell them at a profit?
Yeah,
possibly.
Really
maybe it's a business idea.
So you could actually make money out of this animal shelter, but yeah, it's something beautiful about that, isn't it? Man's best friend rooting out these bitey scumbags, and it just shows. I mean, we spoke about this before, and people were saying, "Oh, you shouldn't let a dog take the wheel of a car," and he was getting a speeding ticket. All this.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. If dogs are this smart that they can sniff out bitey scumbags, then why can't they take the wheel of a car? I mean, riddle me that one.
I mean, I'm just super impressed. I mean, I don't have a dog, but there's so many reasons across this podcast that I'm like, I should be getting a dog.
Yeah, they can drive cars.
Not an XL bully dog though.
No,
I don't have any trouble. Just a normal dog.
And we do need Ola to get back in touch and confirm because she said it was only for dogs, but will she allow XL bully dogs?
Hopefully in Poland that they will. Maybe not in Britain.
Not in Britain. Yeah. They're banned from the UK now. So just to say, on that particular one, the number that we've gone for on that one is 25.
I believe 25 was because wasn't there more kind of 25% increase in kind of bedbug calls?
That was cited. That was cited by a sort of pest control agency of.
They were using sniffer dogs. Was it the case? So there've been a 25% rise. I mean, I don't know about you, but like when it comes to these increases in bedbug kind of call outs, I did see a news segment on TV where they actually had like one of those exterminators, and the TV crew were there and they look at all these bed bugs in natural skirting board. Oh, horrible! And they did say that they had a 17% increase in calls, and they were kind of correlating it with like, oh, has the situation that's happened in France kind of literally bled over into London, because this was an increase in London calls. And actually, I guess the managing director of this kind of exterminator company was saying like, possibly there has been an increase, but they're saying like with the cost of living, people are actually holding off, might be calling kind of all these exterminators for a period to save money until it's gotten so bad now that it's kind of gone like, I can't deal with this. I've got to call them up, and hence there's been a spike.
And Tony, by that time it's too late.
Yeah.
But I must say, again, I don't want to be cynical, but every time I see one of these articles where they cite a pest control saying how bad the bedbug problem is in the UK, I'm like, well, you would say that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they're trying to get financial freedom. That's what
drum up some business there.
Yeah. That might be chucking bedbugs. I mean, that's another conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Oh, while I go around next door neighbour, chuck a few there. Oh, get some more business down the line. I'm not saying that they do that, but it
wouldn't harm their business, would it?
It wouldn't be harm their business if they go, look, we've got called out to this block of flats. One flat's got an issue. there's like 6 flats on this floor. I can make 6 times.
And apparently, I don't know if it's absolutely the case for pest control, but I had read that certainly for bed bugs, the numbers had gone down over COVID because obviously everybody was extra clean. They were staying at home. They were sort of paying attention a bit more.
Yeah.
People weren't going outside and mixing to spread these things.
Yes.
So maybe these pest control companies are struggling a bit and they needed anything to help them. So who knows if there's some sort of conspiracy here where they're trying to spread the bed bugs all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. What's the next one, Chris?
So just another one that I saw this week, Tony. Phyllis Latour has very sadly passed away at the ripe old age of 102 years of age.
Wow.
And some of our listeners might be saying, well, who is Phyllis Latour? Obviously, it's very impressive to last that long. She is the last of the 39 female secret agents who served in Sir Winston Churchill's secret army in France. It was a really great story. In the Second World War, we had female secret agents who were, committing great acts of espionage to serve their country. But yeah, to make it to 102, Tony, I mean, that's the sort of thing we're exploring on this podcast of,
Wow.
If you do hit the jackpot, how do you make it last? We've talked about this before. You've got to be risk averse. You don't want to be, for example, going to a nightclub where the fire safety isn't very good, or they've got flaming tequilas or sparklers or anything, because it might all go up in flames there. So yeah, I wonder what her secret was.
I'm just thinking, I'm guessing because it's Winston Churchill that she was only secret agent for the World War II.
It was World War II, I believe, yeah.
But
102, so hang on, she was born in 1921 then. So it was after the First World War. But
do you reckon she could be a secret? Could she have a cover story that led up to 102 though?
I see what you mean.
That would be super impressive.
Oh, I just hope she didn't switch allegiance to the Russians or something like that, and it all comes out later. I'm sure she wouldn't have done so.
No, I would say that I'm just pleased to hear like a strong female heroine story.
Yes, yeah, me too. And I think she's originally from South Africa as well.
Ah, very interesting. So that's 39 female secret agents, and she was the last one.
She's the last one standing.
So that's it. They're all dead.
Gone. It's very sad. But in any case, what we want to do is use that number to inspire us, 39, and we'll put that down on our ticket this week.
Great. That's a great story there, Chris. My one, it's back to children's the theme again, and this one saddened me actually. So there was a story where, a boy lost 2 fingers after picking up a firework. And
again, fire safety comes up.
Fire safety. And I think this is relevant to show because where are we? We're like mid-October. It's only to run up to Guy Fawkes, November. So we want to make sure that kids, don't mess around with fireworks. Make sure that an adult, don't mess. Don't lose 2 fingers.
There's a reason why they say don't play with fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't play with fire. On Bonfire Night this year, go and watch a regulated, safe event.
I would say just watch it on TV. Be safe. That's what I do. Yeah, watch it on YouTube. That's what I do on New Year's. I mean, I don't even bother going to the crowd. I mean, there's so much danger around with the crowds anyway. But keep safe.
They have those drone displays now as well. Should we just switch to those? They're much safer.
Yeah, I think most parents would go just play on the PS5. I'd rather see what you're doing than rather going out there climbing trees and messing around with fireworks. Definitely. So
stay indoors.
This boy was called Kieran. He was age 9, so still very young. Was playing with his friend Bradley when a firework was allegedly thrown into their den on a field in Hengode. I can't pronounce this one.
Caerphilly. Is that in Wales?
It sounds like it's in Wales.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he was a bit of a victim or someone maybe playing a prank or some sort. But a firework was there.
Yeah, this is quite interesting. So yeah, it says actually the firework was thrown into their den. What sort of absolute lowlife would play with fire, like you said, in that respect, and attack 2 young kids, unless this is a cover story?
I mean, they could have been messing with some fireworks, but I would just say, just don't go near them.
No.
If you see a lit firework, don't even bother trying to pick one up. And the sad bit here is that obviously he lost 2 fingers, and he was at risk of losing his eyesight. So it looked like from the pictures,
I see.
His face. Yeah,
Shame he doesn't.
So he couldn't see for 6 days after the explosion, and his dad said they were hugely relieved when his sight came back. So there is a positive.
So he is able to see again.
Yeah. So I would say, see the danger before you can't.
Oh, I like that one.
See the danger before you can't.
Well, that's what we should put it out on posters and everything. You know, for bonfire night this year. Look, step 1, stay at home.
Yeah.
Watch it on TV.
Watch it on TV.
Step 2, if you must go outside, it's a bit like when it was lockdown. If you must leave your home, go to a drone-led display.
Yes.
Step 3, if you simply must play with fire, you must go to a regulated bonfire night event, which is ticketed and ensures that there are only safe numbers of people getting into that display. Do not go to any private fireworks events.
I agree. I would say, you know, when you work in, even like now in business, you do kind of compliance training where you have to go, yes, I do know the GDPR rules. I do know bribery, the anti-bribery laws. I think there is, I remember in primary school where they did have information about firework safety.
Yeah.
I think today kids, you know, they're all on the apps and stuff like that. I think each kid should download a fireworks safety app that they have to complete the questions and the requirements of what of fireworks safety is before they're even allowed to go to a firework display. And there should be someone at a firework display that kind of scans their kind of phone to say that they've actually completed that kind of compliance training.
Yes. No. Yeah, it's a bit like a form of ID. You have a QR code or something. You're not allowed in unless.
And they get a little certificate as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would sweeten the deal. But, yeah, we keep going on about fire safety, but, you know, it is no laughing matter because you don't want to see everything go up in flames. And it's just important.
I want my children, if I'm going to leave them a few million, I want them to have all 5 fingers.
Yeah.
He's lost 2 fingers, and sadly, that was the number that stuck out, and that's the number 2 for this week.
That's the number 2. And, you know, think of all the things he's going to miss out on with having lost those 2 fingers. You know, playing pool, foosball, things like that. He's probably not even going to be as good on the computer. He can't type as quickly.
Guitar, I mean, who knows? You might have been a budding musician.
Yeah.
Not to say you can't play a guitar. Actually, no, I did see a 2-finger guitarist. He seemed to make do with it. But,
probably.
But hey, you're given a disadvantage to yourself, and luckily you didn't lose his eyesight.
You're absolutely right. And to be honest, let's be perfectly honest about it, that I bet now they have fake fingers, you know, a bit like, you know, remember Blade Runner, Oscar Pistorius?
Oh, yeah. Like prosthetic. I mean, the robotics are getting more advanced now, so he might be all right.
Oscar Pistorius, of course. Is he still in prison, or is he...
I actually don't know. No. Maybe we should look into that.
Yeah, we'll bring that one back. If anybody wants to email in, they can. But yeah, so that was the number 2. And then the last number, so this is one that I saw this week, Tony, which was that people have been losing thousands of Great British pounds in celebrity romance scams, the police have warned. So listen to this. I couldn't believe this. Romance scams involving fake celebrity profiles, including, get this, James Martin, the guy who's on Saturday Kitchen.
Oh, I like him.
The chef.
Yeah.
And this is even worse. Singer Gary Barlow have seen people lose thousands. So let's just say, I can see what they're going after here, the grandma crowd, right? James Martin, and the grandmas love him on Saturday Kitchen. Gary Barlow, you know, the boring one from Take That. If it were me, I wouldn't even bother with Gary Barlow. I'd surely go straight for Robbie Williams, right?
Hey, okay, I've always been more of a Gary Barlow fan than Robbie Williams. And it annoyed
Really?
me that he got more of the success.
The accolades.
Okay, Robbie Williams didn't break America, which I was happy to see, but he did well in the UK and probably
He
other
did.
regions.
Yeah.
You know what? To be honest, you could argue that Gary Barlow wasn't as successful as Robbie Williams. Therefore, maybe that was a better story to spin to say that that's why I need a few extra money. I'm not and down in the dumps. He did what Britain's Got. No, it wasn't Britain's Got Talent. It was the other one,
The
X Factor or something.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
I always thought Gary Barlow was more talented, the better looking
He
one.
probably-
He was more the lead in Take That.
Well, he was more talented. I think he was more talented. But
Yeah.
you can't say better looking than Robbie Williams.
I
Surely.
don't know. That's my preference.
And you know, Robbie Williams. Speaking of the X Factor, he had the X Factor, Robbie.
he had that.
Everyone wanted to
the
be
cheeky,
him.
chappy type of guy, but
But anyway, so listen to this. A woman was cheated out of £5,000 in an online scam by a criminal who was posing as TV chef Mr. Martin. So can you imagine the conversation? I mean, Tony, what do you think?
I mean, these must be kind of gullible's another word for this, but like you seeing James Martin on, was it Saturday or Sunday morning TV, cooking up a storm.
Yeah, as he does.
And he's like, what, I need £5,000. Can you help me out here? And they're like, yeah, sure, have £5,000. I mean, what could he be spinning? Like that would be convincing to, you know, a poor victim going, look, I don't know, maybe I need a 8-burner stove. You know, these things aren't cheap. You know, I need the loan because I need to cook up a certain dish for next week and I just need 8 burners.
ITV have cut the budget.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Food costs have gone up. So therefore I need £5,000.
Do you want me to keep appearing every Saturday morning or not?
Yeah.
But she did hand the money over as a loan. But she did say,
she
you
thought
need to
getting it back."
repay this, Mr. Martin. She thought she was getting it back, but she never did. But Tony, there have been 23 reports of romance scams in 2 months. And Nottinghamshire police were the ones who reported this. They reckon the true figure was likely higher. So 23 is what I want to go for. But hearing all of this, it did make me think back and worry about Gertrude. Do you remember Gertrude emailed in a couple of weeks ago about her lover in Tunisia, who she wants? If she won the lottery, Gertrude would fly out, I think, to meet her lover in Tunisia.
It did raise flags for me, Chris. I mean, didn't meet
They've
this
never
person.
met, and yeah. So I'm gonna. Gertrude never got back to us, so I'm gonna respond back to Gertrude. We need to get to the bottom of this one.
Maybe send her this article. I mean, I wouldn't say we don't want to be judgmental. We just go, hey, Gertrude, I found this really interesting article. Maybe, you know, you might find it interesting.
I was browsing online,
Yeah.
and I came across this really interesting piece. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, how many family members does he need to kind of help out, that she needs to help out? Just because if you were in an online romance, I mean, hey, it's fine what you ever want to do with your money, but I'm sure you would want to meet the person before you start handing them thousands, right? Who am I to judge, Chris? I'm.
And furthermore, we don't know who this person in Tunisia is. It could be Robbie Williams. It could be James Martin. We don't know.
Yeah, who's the other? Jason Orange? Is that enough?
Jason Orange.
Yeah.
He was the one. Mick Hucknall. We don't know. It's from Gingers, but
So, okay, I think we've gone through all the numbers. If I kind of read out what are the numbers that I will be buying for this Saturday's draw.
please do.
So, I think we start with the bottom, so 2. And then we'll go to 15. Then we'll go 20. Then 25. And then 23. And then 39. And I think that's and 15. Sorry, excuse me. Those are the numbers that I am going to be buying for this Saturday's draw.
Superb.
So I think those numbers sound well thought out. I think, Chris.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, listen, we won a lucky dip in last week's draw, and I think we're ready to go one further.
And I'm manifesting. We've manifested these numbers. We'll see how we go, but I'm willing to do a few more if that's what it takes, Chris.
Oh yeah. Listen, we said at the beginning, didn't we? We didn't want to have to wait too long for this lottery jackpot. But I think the more research that we've done on this, we figured out, right, okay, it might only be 3.8 million, 4 million the jackpot. It's going to change your life still. It's going to change your life. You're able with 1 million in the bank to get 40 grand passive income. So I think we've got to keep at it. It could be a long but a slow burner. And I think we spoke about this last week, didn't we? Of it's what happens along the journey as well. Are you ready? Have you found yourself yet?
I'm not sure if I'm ready for this Wednesday. I'm in the draw now. The lucky dip.
You're in the draw. So is it one lucky dip?
Yeah, one lucky dip. So maybe I might need to mention. I didn't mention the other time when I won the lucky dip last time. So I'll give an update for next week's podcast. But if I won the Wednesday and the Saturday.
And of course, we did speak last week about the guaranteed way that you can at least win a lucky dip as well. So I'm still thinking about it. I was on holiday last week, and it was a holiday, I think, Tony, that we could have added to the first holiday you want to do if you won the lottery. It was that good. But, I want to try at some point that guaranteed way to win the lottery. If you buy 27 certain combinations, you are guaranteed to win at least a lucky dip. I'm ready to try it. Okay, it's going to cost me 54 quid. I might only win lucky dips. Imagine if I won a couple of grand. That's a start.
I mean, it's got the word guaranteed in it. I mean, it'd be silly not to, right?
I think James Martin's Facebook profile had that in it as well.
I mean, that's one way of getting a few grand every week, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I am worried about. That somebody listening to this just reaches out to Gertrude, locates her somehow, and takes advantage. So hopefully it was a fake. Could have been a cover story. Could have been a fake name.
Let's definitely send her that article, Chris. Make sure that she knows what.
Be careful. Be safe online.
Cool. So don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share, and then join us next week where we try to win the lottery. Goodbye.
Ciao.